Welcome to the Feminist Wellbeing Podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie Dodier, non-diet nutritionist, certified intuitive eating counselor, and cognitive behavior coach. And I've earned a PhD in diet culture. And at the age of 40, I graduated from that 25-year dieting career. And I'm here today to guide you on how to feel damn good by reshaping your mind instead of the pant size you're wearing. In this podcast, we're going beyond the food and fight diet culture and patriarchy by living powerfully. And this episode is a behind the scene of how I live powerfully and learnings from my month off work in July 2024. I'm looking at the date in my eyes. It just finished. Today, I'm recording this podcast on July 29th, and I was off the whole month of July. Let's say starting June 27 to July 27th. And it's the first time I was thinking about that, probably 10 years that I'm taking quote unquote real vacation. What I mean by real vacation is a vacation where I am not doing any work in my business and not doing any marketing, not being on social media, not coaching anyone, not hosting any group call, and not thinking and doing in my business. I haven't done that. And I was being really honest with myself, probably since I started my online business. This is my second business since I became an entrepreneur. For those who are new to the podcast, I spent 15 years in the corporate world from my early mid-20s to the age of 39. In sales and operation of a retail company. I climbed the corporate ladder for 15 years, ended up being the vice president of store operation, burnt out, went back to school, and then started the health businesses. My first business was a traditional nutrition clinic in Toronto, where I had an office, a building, employees, was seeing client back to back with appointment for 50 minutes, like the traditional health clinic work. And I did that for 3 years and I closed that business and I moved online. And this is beyond the food. This is this whole podcast, Undiet Your Life, the non-diet coaching certification. That's the second business. And since I started that, which is almost 8 years now, I've never really taken time off. I said I was off, but I was really in my business still. And about 9 months ago, I was being coached. I was in a mastermind. For those who don't know what a mastermind is a group of people coming together with similar goal. And we are led by someone more advanced than us in those goals. And we have mindset calls, we have emotional support and strategic guidance on how to achieve these goals with that leader who's already achieved these goals. A mastermind can be really about anything in your life. In this case, it was about a business mastermind. But 9 months ago, we were all sharing our plans for the year. And one of my co-masterminder shared that she was taking a month off in July. In her case, it was August, and a month off over December and January, the Christmas holiday. And I felt a lot of jealousy coming up in me that she was doing the same thing. She was a coach like me, and she was able to do that, and I wasn't. And I left that call where I felt that jealousy, and I got curious. That's the whole cognitive behavior coaching. I coached myself using the tools and technique that I teach people. And I got curious as to why I felt that jealousy. And it's because I had the thought, I cannot do this. And I asked myself, is that true? Is it true that you cannot take a month off? And the answer was no. It was just a thought that I had that I couldn't do it. I said, okay, so if it's not true, if it's not a fact that you can't take a month off of work, and you decide to think like that, what would you need to think and believe in order for you to be able to take a month off of work? And I worked with my brain, my thoughts, to create a belief that I could take a month off. When I say everything start with your mind, it's literally everything. Even the way you engage with your work, with your business, with your food, with your body, with your health, with your moving your body. It really is everything. So I apply that, and I created a belief over the last 8 months now that I could take a month off of work in my business, and my business would not collapse, would not make less money. I would not make less money. I would still be able to live the life that I'm living. And it worked. I always like to say to people when we talk about mindset, things don't happen just because you think new thoughts or you have new belief. Like, you're not sitting on top of a green, luscious mountain in a yoga position, humming, I'm taking a month off of work, and it's just happening. And it falls off the sky, and I'm taking a month off of work. No. There was me thinking I can take a month off of work, and me putting a plan together, a tactical plan, an operational plan to make it happen. And so I put this plan in place in January of this year, lined up all my tactics in my business while I was doing the mindset and the emotional work and calming my nervous system that was freaking out of taking a month off, and all the things that could happen and go wrong. I did the mindset, the nervous system work, the strategic work. I moved myself through the fear that were coming up every time I was changing thing in my business so I could take a month off. And I moved through all of that. I pushed myself through all of that, and it happened. So when you hear mindset work, I want you to be really connected to the fact that it still requires action in order for the result to come through. So I shared in the last episode of the podcast that I was going to Indonesia, Bali. And if you haven't listened to podcast 395, go ahead and listen to that, because I shared the story about Bali and why Bali that is. It was one of my bucket list item, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Yeah, the location was amazing. Bali is beautiful, like gorgeous, beautiful. The people are amazing. But it's also all the learnings that I had, because I was going there to, take a month off, but also to grow, to learn something from that new version of myself who's taking a month off of work. And how can I take these learnings and apply them as I come back to work? So I don't know where you're watching this, but I would at least suggest that you go on my Instagram feed and look at the promotional reel for this podcast, which likely came out in the last week of July 2024, because you will see my first learning visually. I have curly hair. I have naturally curly hair. Now, listen to me. I did not have curly hair. I remember I'm going to take you back to when I was 14, 15 years old. I remember, if you're old enough, you remember those perms. Raise your hand if you've heard of perms or had a perm, like 80s teens and young ladies. You probably had a perm. This is how flat my hair were. Like I had a perm because my hair weren't curly. And I don't know when it happened. Between that time and now, my hair became curly. I'm thinking it happened in my 40s as I changed my life, changed the way that I was thinking, changed my nervous system, changed the way I felt my emotion. I think it also created curls in my hair. So, because here's the thing. I don't know why, but in Bali, Indonesia, the electricity voltage is different. Hair dryers don't work there. Or at least in the place where I was, hair dryer didn't work. So I couldn't dry my hair and straighten my hair. So I'm like, okay, everything that happens for a reason in my life. I'm like, okay, the first time I washed my hair after arriving, I'm like, okay, I can't straighten them up. So what are we gonna do? I let my hair dry, and oh my God, I'm like, I have those beautiful curls in my hair. What am I gonna do with this? So I let my hair dry naturally the whole time I was there. And here I am, my first day back to work. And I decided to do this. It's so much easier. Like for someone whose goal is to live an easy life, not having to blow dry your hair, not having to straighten your hair because you now have curls is the most amazing gift of it all. So this is my first learning. I have curly hair. So I'm reading from my book here as I was going through this month and taking note. And the first thing is, oh my God, I got curly hair. My life's going to be so much easier when I take a shower. The other piece, the other learning I want to share with you is I love naps. I thought I wasn't a nap person. And what I realized is I wasn't a nap person because I always aimed to be more productive. And in my mind, naps weren't productive. In my thought process, naps weren't productive. And now for a month, I don't have to produce anything. I just have to do nothing. So now I have this huge amount of time. And guess what? I napped probably one day out of two. And very easily. Just putting my head on a pillow and closing my eyes and poof, I'm napping. So I'm going to nap a lot more going forward. So I'm making, one of the things I'm doing after this realization is I'm changing the way I'm going to make my schedule. Like it doesn't change. I'm still going to make a schedule and put things to do on my list, but I'm going to do it differently so that, which is my third learning, I enjoy a slow life. Like I, for the longest time, thought I feel better when I'm being productive, when it's go, go, go. The first week I was off of work of the 4 weeks, I was really uncomfortable doing nothing. Like literally I could feel it in my nervous system, the hypervigilance and the discomfort of doing nothing. And I stuck with it. I stuck with reading. I stuck with napping. I stuck with having no agenda, with flowing, how my body wanted to flow. And I really enjoyed it. After the second week, I enjoyed it more. But by the third and the fourth week, I was like, okay, I love this way of living, of not being rushed. How can I change the way that I'm thinking, the way that I'm planning my time so that I don't have to be rushed all the time. I still have things to do, but I don't have to rush through them. So there's a few things that I'm doing, I'm going to share with you here, that I'm taking away in order for me to be less rush. I'm doing more things in the morning. Like, I'm a person who naturally wakes up early. So I usually wake up between 5 and 5:30. So I used to go to the gym right away in the morning, 3 days out a week. I used to go to the gym to be productive in the morning. Here's what I'm going to do. A lot more slow paced things in the morning. I'm going to do my thought work when I wake up in the morning. I'm going to have breakfast. I'm going to plan my day. And instead of having everything scheduled every hour, I'm going to have a 3 loose hour break, not a break, but a block of time for me to do only 3 things. So I don't have to be rushed and like look at the time and make sure that I'm leaving for the gym at this time and I'm back here for this time and I'm doing this for this time. Like, I'm doing less in bigger blocks of time. And then the same thing in the way that I'm scheduling the rest of my week. I'm really looking at everything in my life, personal life, social life, and work life, in order to have less things to do. And I'm looking at myself in the camera right now as I'm talking to you, and not having to straighten my hair, blow dry my hair and straighten my hair just gave me back 30 minutes 3 times a week. It gave me back time to insert in my schedule so I can have a less rushed life. There is some social things that I did in my personal life that I've decided to no longer do because they weren't fulfilling me anymore, so that I can have more time. There is things in my business that I used to do. One of the things that some of you may see or will see in the future, I used to be very active on stories. So my main social media platform is Instagram, and you can post on the feed, but you can also do stories. And I was really intent with the story to be value driven. And I used to do stories, 6, 7, 8 stories a day that brought value to you consuming the story. But that took 45 minutes of my day to do. So I'm going to do less stories. I'm going to put more intent in my post feed, in my newsletter, in my podcast. I'm going to be really thoughtful with my content so that I can get more time back. And as I'm saying that, I want you to think, even in your own work life, professional life, what can you do less to do more of what you want? In this case, for me, is more of a slow life. What is it that you want to do? Some people want to pick up a hobby. Some people want to pick up a sport. I don't know. Some women want to have a child. They're like, how am I going to fit a child in my life when I'm already that busy? I want to start a business, right? I'm working in a career 40 hours a week and I want to start a business. So how can I have 10, 15 hours more a week to invest in my business while it starts, while I maintain my job? It's not about, and this is the mindset as women that we need to really be thoughtful about, because the first place we always go to is being more productive instead of saying no to things. And I've been singing that song and I'm applying it to my life to the next level now with that. Okay, the next learning is I enjoy having goals and purpose. As much as I love the month off of work and living the slow life, one of the things that I miss was having a purpose and goals. And it was really confusing for me. Like, that happened probably in week 3, where I'm like, I love reading, I love napping, but I feel purposeless. And I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling of not having a purpose, contributing to the world, bringing value into the world. And I knew that the month off was not going to be the rest of my life, which really made me think about retirement to the next level. But that I'll leave that for another podcast. So how can I have goal, a purpose, a contribution into the world while living a slow life? That was, I don't have all the answer to that. I've given you some of the answer, but definitely having a purpose, having a goal, bringing value into the world. I love that. And the answer is not to not have any goals and do nothing all day long. Not for me anyway. I love taking a month off of work. So that's a learning. And I'm taking another month off in December because I'm born in a Christian family. So we do a lot of celebration around Christmas. I see a lot of people only once a year at Christmas. So I want to take time off in mid-December to mid-January. I'm going to take like probably the week of Christmas off to be with my family, which I already did. But then I went back to work on like December 27th. I'm going to take 3 more weeks off of work and I'm going to go somewhere in the world and do nothing for 3 weeks. But I'm not going to stay home. I'm going to go somewhere to do nothing for 3 weeks because I love vacation. I thought I wasn't someone who loved vacation. So that's a big learning. So we already have the next vacation schedule and I'm going to keep scheduling them ahead of time. Okay, this one is going to be funny, but oatmeal, porridge is life. Okay, let me explain to you what happened there. So in Indonesia, oatmeal is not a grain that is culturally consumed. So therefore, even when you go to Western restaurants, there's no oatmeal on the menu. There's no porridge on the menu. It doesn't exist. Like, I mean, I'm sure if I digged in the most westernized grocery store, I would have found oatmeal, but I didn't find any oatmeal. And oh my God, did it affect my digestive output? And I realized that for me, one of the most powerful and soluble fiber that I can eat is oatmeal. This is what you learn. I'm probably going to do another podcast on that, on the nutritional change that I'm implementing in my life from that month off of work. Because there's so much I can say to this, but I'll stick to just telling you oatmeal is life. And I learned this from really like eating the food around me, totally being guided by my hunger and fullness and being mainly in restaurants, eating and not having access to oatmeal. And man, my bowel movement were affected by this. And I realized I am someone who enjoy oatmeal. I truly enjoy eating oatmeal and I have to have oatmeal in my life. No matter how much vegetable I eat, it will never replace oatmeal. I put that in there so you can have a giggle. I met someone on the retreat, not from a romantic standpoint, but from a friendship standpoint, on the last few days that I was there. And I really connected with this person. We have a similar career. We have similar value. We have similar mindset, interests in our personal life. And she came in the place where I was staying for the last 3 or 4 days. And I'm really curious where that friendship relationship is going to go with that person. So stay tuned. Like that's what's so interesting for me, because one of my beliefs is that everything happens in my life for a reason, for me to learn. I am part of the universe and the universe speaks to me through event. And I speak to the universe through my reaction. So I interacted with this person. She was the room right beside me for 3 days. We really enjoyed our time together. And I am excited to see where this will be going in the future, where this relationship is going to be going in the future. The last one I want to share with you today, because likely I'm going to do another one on nutrition. So I'll keep all the health stuff for that podcast. But if you've watched a reel, I love a red lipstick. That's another of my discovery. I'm going to dial back the clock to the week before me leaving for my month off of work. I did a photo shoot for my business, and the makeup artist who did my makeup, I said to her, let's try some bright red kick-ass lipstick. I've never done a shoot with red lipstick. So we put very minimal makeup on my face just for the camera, because I don't wear makeup naturally or normally in my life. So I didn't want to have big like eyes and like mascara. We didn't put any mascara, no eyeshadow. We just did the skin, the shininess of the skin. And then she put that lipstick on, which I don't know anything about cosmetics, and I'm totally okay with that. But I guess there is some type of lipstick that will stay on for longer than others. So she put that extra lasting lipstick that she used for photo shoot and TV and camera stuff. And that lipstick stayed on for the whole day. And I loved it. I loved the energy that it gave me. And when I got the picture back, the very first week I was on my month off of work, the photographer sent me some edits of the picture with the red lipstick. And oh my God, I loved the energy that I give in the photos. So you're going to see some of those photos out over the next few months as we do marketing. But I love red lipstick. I wore the red lipstick while I was on holiday many times, and I loved, again, the energy that it gave me. It's almost for me like the cocky, ambitious, confident energy that I have in me is being communicated through my lips. So I don't know where this is gonna go. Today I put a red lip gloss on, and clearly this is how little that I know about cosmetics. Clearly it doesn't last as long as that kick-ass lipstick that this professional makeup artist put on me. So I'm on a mission to go find a long-lasting red lipstick. If any of you are skilled and knowledgeable in the best long-lasting lipstick brand, please DM me on Instagram. I want to know which brand is the best, and I'm heading out to the store this week to go buy it so I can wear it a lot more than I'm doing right now. So these were my learning from the month off of work. And as I did this, I'm definitely going to do a nutrition and health one, because I had some learnings in there as well. And I hope it inspires you. It inspires you to take more time for yourself, whatever that means for you. Because I totally understand that it's not when you work for someone else, when you work in the corporate world, you can't just up and decide to take more time off. But how can you take more weekends off? How can you arrange your schedule to have more time off in a day for you? I hope it inspired that for you, in that you're being really mindful as you go through this experience of time off, connected with yourself, and take notice of how you feel when you do certain things that you normally don't do. What feels good, what doesn't feel good, and how can you bring more of that in your day-to-day life. It was a pleasure being with you. I love you, my sister, and I'll see you on the next podcast. Hey, my sisters, if you are loving what you are learning on the podcast, you have to come and check out our feminist mentorship masterclasses and our internationally recognized non-diet coaching certification on our website at www.stephaniedote.com/shop. This is where you can get the individual coaching and the support to take the concept taught on the podcast to the next level, embrace our well-being in a way that will expand our collective freedom and power. Come and join myself and other women to learn how to reshape your mind, not your body. I'll see you there.